To Honcast here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deadeye Bounty League third place match is finally coming at you here. What is a Thursday? Of course, things have been a little bit delayed, to say the least, here with this event. Unfortunately, last weekend, there were some issues, I'll just put it that way. We had a major patch that hit, of course, patch 3.9. Brought us a lot of great content, of course, but there were a couple of issues that prevented us from playing the matches this last weekend. So they were postponed. We are able to get the third place match here done today. The finals actually set to happen later on, I believe this weekend. I don't know 100% just yet, but again, we'll get that information to you when we have it. With all of that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're excited to be here on what is a best out of three. We, of course, have Wop Dash taking on Complexity here in this best out of three. This being the third place matchup once again. This Deadeye Bounty League, it's been a lot of fun. It's lasted really over a couple of months here. A lot of content from this tournament. It's been great. It really has. And it's crazy that we're starting to wrap things up now officially, as you see on the brackets right here. Again, Complexity, they lost a sync to get to here. Wop Dash has kind of been this story team, though. This is a team that, really, we didn't expect much, frankly, coming into this event, and especially now the playoffs just around the corner for Han Tour Season 4, of course. They've kind of always been one of these teams that's been in diamond and gold, kind of bouncing back and forth, but they put a roster together for this event, and we'll see how they do in the wildcard event, the playoffs coming up as well, but that clearly did well. I mean, they finished actually in the 6th place spot there in the group stages, just barely squeaking in. But then they went on to beat Druids, and they actually gave Fresh a run for their money as well, taking them to a 3-game series. So this is a team, here they are against Complexity. A lot of people kind of just look at this matchup and maybe figure, oh, Complexity, they're the favorites, no doubt, which they are. I think there's no argument there, but no doubt Wop Dash has a strong chance, and I'm excited to see what they're able to bring to the table. Now, as you could probably tell by now, I'm going to be doing a solo cast here initially, at least. Unfortunately, I was reaching out and wasn't able to be joined again. This was kind of a last-minute deal, so as far as the match kind of happening here, but who knows? Maybe somebody will hop on throughout the broadcast here. But for now, we're going to be sticking with the solo cast side of things. But so it's kind of interesting coming back to this because it is just the one best of 3 here, but again, we did have that big patch that happened, and I'm going to try to keep an eye out for, heroes that we are perhaps seeing that may had some significant changes throughout the from patch 3.9 that, of course, happened this last week here. So excited to see, how the teams may be starting to adjust to that already with those coming in. But anyways, this draft here is well underway. In fact, we are into the banning phase now. Coming up right here, we got Wop Dash on the Legion, of course, Complexity on the Hellborn. As far as the draft as a whole, let's take a look. How did this start? We went Tundra and a Warbeast, Hellbringer and a Magebane were the bans. Interesting stuff there. Wop Dash taking out the Tundra and the Hellbringer. Mix of a Fuzzy and an Oscar hero, but Tundra definitely one of those in the right hands, and Oscar definitely those right hands. Very dangerous hero. Very dangerous hero to go up against, especially if you're looking to play a gank lineup yourself. That Shiver will completely wreck your day. So, and speaking of that, you look at the picks here. They first picked Monarch. This has really been a support hero. That's kind of become an all-star as far as the supporting cast goes. Monarch, you talk about almost coming out of nowhere, it feels like. I mean, the hero got reworked a while ago now, and I remember, ever since that Noxious Nightcrawler rework, how the idea of perhaps seeing her a little bit more was kind of there, but we never really did. She never really took off. I think the biggest thing was that she's always kind of been considered this hero that she just needs too many levels. She needs too many levels. All of her abilities are good. I know, a bad problem to have, really, because you want to level everything up, but you can't, of course. So you have to pick and choose. Now, we have seen a lot of teams seem like they've been favoring the idea of the Chrysalis. The Chrysalis, the 80% damage reduction, also the instant heal that you get. It is a ridiculously strong ability and great to put on a target that, especially in a lot of ways, your go-to carry. And, we will see these 4-1 strategies come out when we happen to see these Monarch picks. So wouldn't be surprised to see the 4-1 strategy out here from Wop Dash, but as you see so far, they go the Monarch, they get Parasite, and then they get Behemoth here to start things off. As far as Complexity goes, they're going to go with Magnus, and they respond with the Cthulhu font to go up against the Parasite. And then we have Madman with the third pick. That's kind of an intriguing third pick right there from Complexity. You know, not the usual. It really, Madman feels like he's kind of one of those last picks, you know, if you still need maybe the offlane, a secondary carry choice, or perhaps even your carry. But to get that third pick, Madman here. Now, I will say this does open up the door for we don't know exactly where it's going to end up. Now, again, will it be that carry in the short lane, or will it be perhaps in Oscar's hands in the long lane? I could definitely see both being pretty viable right here. I'm going to turn on my sounds a little bit. For some reason, I feel like they're a little lower than usual. So give me just a second here. There we go. Let's turn those bad boys up there. There we go. Barely hear them myself. Maybe I'm just becoming deaf. That's very possible, too. Anyway, Shadowblade, going to be the fourth pick. Whoa, Shadowblade. I have to kind of really soak that in. Shadowblade coming out here. All right, now, okay, we are seeing the impact of the patch. Shadowblade was one that really stood out to me, mainly because I love this hero. I've talked about this in the past. I love the idea of this hero. Playing this hero personally is a lot of fun to me, but I love the idea of it, especially in a player who knows what he's doing with it. And that by that, I mean taking advantage of the Essence Shift. You know, buying the three mighty blades, using the Essence Shift, then selling them, things like that. Really taking advantage of the idea that you have some gold saved up, buff your stats as a result of it. The Essence Shift, it got buffed. 10% each level. It used to be 20, 30, 40%. Now it's 30, 40, 50% of the target's main attributes. So Shadowblades are going to be even stronger now. Ideally, more than likely, more just tankier because, you know, the strength, the Essence Shift of strength idea is what a lot of players go, at least initially, you know, eventually transitioning perhaps to the intellect or the agility, whatever they favor. But that strength build, especially early on, it's ridiculous. You could have well over 2,000 life and so much armor by level 6. I mean, it's absurd how tanky you can really get. So I'm excited to kind of see these changes now with the Shadowblade, and clearly Wop Dash is planning to try it here. Prisoner going to be their final pick. So, yeah, they are going the 4-1 strategy. I do find Monarch a little more interesting now going with the Shadowblade pick. I mean, Monarch in general, again, can just be a strong hero. The idea of the vision with the Noxious Nightcrawler is great. Her ultimate is a solid tool to have. And then she does provide a stun in a sense here with that Crippling Pollen, of course. Now, but again, back to the idea of the Chrysalis, you know, you would think more of a fragile carry. Something like that Mage Bane, or, you know, going back to like a Clanks even, where we used to see. Shadowblade, as we're talking about here, I mean, he's just really beefy carry, or at least has that potential. So he's not necessarily going to be really needing that Chrysalis as much as others maybe would. And so I wonder if Monarch actually may choose to prioritize the E because of that, perhaps, and maybe even go the Q, maybe even just the 1 point into Chrysalis. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes right here. The final pick, what was the final pick? Corrupted Disciple. Okay, Corrupted Disciple, the final pick over here from Complexity, and it's being ran by Fuzzy Sloth. Interesting. So Complexity really doing something a little different here. It's the Madman's and Formless, right? That's who's playing. Yeah, okay, Formless is on the Madman. So that's not too surprising there. Where is Fuzzy Sloth going to end up? Is he going to be playing a middle Corrupted Disciple here? That's good. Oh, look at this here. We only got one of the players with that Ascension here. Complexity. None of them. Disappointed. I'm disappointed. The Ascension Codex, of course, or Codex Ascension, excuse me, did come out here in patch 3.9 amongst all the content that came, and that's brought some fun stuff. Some of the stuff we haven't really been able to take advantage of yet from the spectating and even the betting that's been talked about. So, again, looking forward to that here when that's going to be available. But hopefully you guys are enjoying, those that are enjoying the Ascension there. So, Complexity as a team, though, Corrupted Disciple. Oh, this is a sweet skin, by the way. Huh. Anyways, Fuzzy Sloth, again, he's going to end up down here. Oh, Shadowblade just hiding behind the tree. Not going to be seen, and as a result, he just continues moving on right here. We got Monarch going to make sure to get out of the way as well. So Complexity really kind of just controlling the jungle from the beginning. Going to get their, perhaps, wards down to block some camps. Who has wards? Glacius has the one ward site. No Rev wards. Where did he place one? Place one over here. That, I assume that blocks it. I'm going to go ahead and safely assume that blocks that camp right here. I don't know if we've really ever seen it placed in this specific spot. That's just, you know, usually to be placed more over here, but obviously this is the idea that he can perhaps place it in a spot that won't be as easy to detect. Now, ideally the Rev Ward will at the same time get it and not be a big issue for this Legion team. But Parasite, he didn't buy anything. In fact, he's still sitting on his full gold here at 603. So he's got money to use here. And will probably end up buying a ref ward as soon as he sees that this camp is, of course, blocked right here. So, all right, got to pause here to start things off. Once again, guys, kind of jumping right into it here, but welcome. We are doing the Deadeye Bounty League third place match. I know that this was a little bit later of an announcement. Unfortunately, I do apologize for that, but at the same time, because of the delays that happened, even until earlier today, we weren't even sure if this match was going to be happening. So, kind of had some delays with it, but ultimately, it is here today, and we are covering it, obviously. So, in fact, let me make my announcement. I forgot to make my social media announcement here. Give me 1 second. Deadeye Bounty League Season 2 third place match coming at you with Complexity versus, that just deleted it. Okay, don't want that. Complexity. There we go. Versus Wop Dash. Tune in. Get that URL up in there. There we go. All right. We are officially a go. We are officially a go here. Okay, so, again, though, they get only the one ward site down, which I assume is going to be counted here by MJ95. MJ95 has been a fun player to watch. He's the jungler here for Wop Dash, and kind of another one of these kind of cases of, obviously before really this event, frankly. I mean, this was a team that I knew of, obviously going into, but at the same time, they had a different roster. You know, this team goes back to the days of the Mystery Gang, what they're formerly known as. They've kind of bounced around with their roster quite a bit. I think Imba Pingu may have been kind of part of the original, but maybe even not. I don't know. So many of these teams have kind of gone around the wagon here, and picked and chosen. But this is what we're ending up with, at least for now. I think even technically here, yeah, I don't believe this guy here, Satan. It's actually say Satan something. What does that even say? Satan's son. Okay, nice lead speak, bro. Anyways, I can't say I recognize him, but I believe the others are the more of the normal here. So, give me 1 sec. That should be that. Okay. Apparently Skype is bugged. Man, when a team's going to learn how to use Discord? It's kind of funny I say that because I honestly don't even use it myself. I still use Skype. But, I mean, it does have issues, but it's like one of those cases. It's, all the contacts are there and just a little bit easier. May need to up to sense. Let me try something here. We're still on the pause here. There we go. Okay. Anywho. Behemoth also hasn't bought any wards yet, or any items for that matter. Still sitting on 600 gold, so we'll be waiting to see the matchup here. But we do see Complexity, by the way. They are going to be doing an aggressive. So, yeah, they pick her up the Disciple, and it looks like they're going to choose to man up down here at the bottom lane. So this should be interesting how Wop Dash able to respond to it. Shadowblade. Definitely, he's solid as far as early on. He can deal some decent damage. He's also very difficult to kill, but at the same time, if it's him and a Monarch versus this corrupted Glacius here, especially with Cthulhu in that jungle, you definitely figure that Complexity has the favorite there. So, okay, looks like they are using Discord. How about that? By the way, guys, just a quick reminder of what is on the line here for this match. There is a $500 prize pool for this third place match here. And it's actually winner takes all in this case. So the winning team will get 500. The losing, unfortunately, home with nothing. But obviously, a lot of this event has really been about the idea of practicing and using this event to keep warm. And again, around the corner here now. It starts next week, right? I'm not wrong on that. Yeah, holy crap, it does. Finally getting to that point where the World Finals, not the World Finals, no, calm down, Frankie. The playoffs for Hunter Season 4 are literally next week. So next weekend, that is. They start next week, and I want to say they start on the 6th, or no, the 7th. So May 7th, that would be that Saturday right there. So, yeah, that's coming up right here. But the point being, a lot of these teams, that's really kind of been the focus here of this Deadeye Bounty League, kind of keep teams practiced and prepared for that event, which really, that's where it's all on the line. Of course, Sync, they're going to sit back and relax after this. They get away for the World Finals. They qualified. They're going to see now who gets to join them here. So, all right, we do see Complexity, though. Going with the man up here. Yeah, you guys like my co-caster in the Honcast chat there? Kappa's bringing that great insight, yo. So Shadowblade is going to get that soul sight here early on and take advantage of the range, of course. Prisoner, oh my gosh, nearly dying right there. Magnus unable to finish him off, though. Prisoner just out of range with the health potion activation. So very good escape right there. I mean, really more so, of course, he just ran away. Frankly, I'm just confused how he got so low in the first place. He must have got creep locked right there massively, because there's really no excuse other than that, where, man, that would have been really bad if Oscar was able to pick up the Bloodlust kill there in favor of Complexity. Good for them, that is. So, but Cyrox here, playing the Prisoner, able to survive. He's, of course, he's Prisoner great against Magnus. He does have Parasite coming over. Looks like Parasite, though, is just simply going to adjust here, realizing Cthulhu's in his jungle, and doesn't want to have to deal with him, of course. So, speaking of that, Cthulhu running over the Noxious Nightcrawler here, and going to be seen coming over. It's still going to disrupt as best as he can on the pole camp. Corrupted Disciple is definitely a hero that is willing to dive, so wouldn't be surprised to see Complexity go for a move like that, much earlier on, especially when you figure no one's going to have TPs on the opposite side, and right now, of course, that's not the case. I mean, it's still only 2 minutes into the game, but if they look to do that within the next minute or so, that could be very possible. They wouldn't have to worry about a response here, so. But Cthulhu just simply takes really most of the pole camp there. He's even level 3 now. On top of that, you see Monarch one creep away from leveling up himself, but going to remain a level 1 for the time being here. Shadowblade going to hold on the 1-pointed soul sight right now. Middle lane, by the way, Magnus getting low. Parasite trying to finish him off, but not enough. He got the Lava Surge off and was able to survive right there. So good getaway from Magnus. Behemoth top lane. Is this the Bloodlust? Yes, it is. He went for the block. It just didn't matter. Again, getting killed. We've got a remix going on here. Well, my Han just died. And we'll be right back. Freaking Behemoth broke my game. Stream's still good, right? Let me double check that. Yeah, no, stream's still good. Okay. Yeah, that was just the game there. That was just the game. Reconnecting now, guys. But that was a bloodless kill for Formless there at the top lane, playing the Madman. So yeah, in a 1v1, that's not something you wanna be giving up. I would think Behemoth actually could do decently at by himself up there as well. So really unfortunate he gets picked off though, especially for the Bloodlust, and that's going to set up Complexity pretty well here. Now rejoining back into the game.
Captain's pick.
Let's see, did they pause by chance? No, they did not. Did we miss anything else? Yes, we did, of course. 3-0 lead here for Complexity, and actually could be more. Nope, Prisoner. He'll be fine. So, wait, there's no kills for the Legion team yet. Glacius has died. I saw him dead. I was wondering about that, but he must have died to neutrals. Okay, interesting. Anyways, Complexity, a 3-0 start now as we are rejoining here. 2,300 gold lead, 2,000 experience lead. Obviously, the start very strong for them, especially looking back at this Madman here. So, again, deciding to go with a short lane Madman. This was a third pick Madman right here, but clearly something maybe Complexity has been trying out a little bit, this whole long lane Corrupted Disciple, as Behemoth again gets low. Barely able to survive, however. But Corrupted Disciple, he's doing well himself, 350 gold per minute. You know, we have seen the idea of a man-up Corrupted before. I kind of blanking on what team did this a little. I think Sync might have actually done this a little bit. You know, Zibbe playing it, especially, and they kind of manned up with it. Shadowblade, by the way, there's that Chrysalis again. He is tanky, especially with the Chrysalis, but it's not enough. As mentioned earlier, they can dive here, and it works out big time. As Monarch also goes down, though, they do lose good through the fall. Parasite was there. I didn't even realize that. And a hat trick coming out for Fuzzy Sloth all of a sudden. Oh, no, I didn't even realize Parasite was in the mix of all that. All of a sudden he pops out and gives up a hat trick to Fuzzy Sloth right there. I didn't check how many charges he had on this conduit, but it must have been up there for Corrupted Disciple, as he was definitely wrecking. So, man, this start just getting much worse for Wop Dash. And obviously, they're finding themselves in quite the hole as far as adjustments to be made. I mean, I don't know. I think this idea of laning here from Complexity really was just has just paid. When it comes down to it, it's frankly getting outplayed is part of it. I mean, Complexity obviously getting that bloodless kill at the top lane with Madman solo against the Behemoth. That shouldn't happen. You do see Magnus here in the middle lane going against Prisoner. Can do the font. Stop. It does not hit in time. And Magnus Eruption going to be canceled. So they were really stretching right there. I guess that's one way to kind of get back into a game, is by simply getting the other team to kind of throw themselves at you. No. That was a very greedy effort there by Complexity, really kind of reaching for that kill. But coming up short, and they give him a couple of kills to Reason Gaming, or not Reason, I saw the tag there, to Wop Dash, that is, so at least to keep things somewhat close. But yeah, really taking advantage, trying to get kills, especially in that middle lane, as they kind of did right there. Well, thankful to Complexity kind of diving in, but you'd figure also with Corrupted kind of pushed up as far as he can, you know, getting perhaps a Prisoner eventually to rotate down here. He is coming back right now to regen, maybe getting a port down here to the bottom lane and setting up some kind of kill. I mean, there is no vision right now from Complexity, and this is exactly what they're doing. Veilrot out. That's a perfect lineup. Oh, he gets the one up to the bottom, not the prime target, and he's going to trample away. Man, they were both stunned right on top of each other. If he got the hook off a second earlier, maybe gets Glacius too. But now Corrupted Disciple, he's turning this, so, well, the idea was right there from Wop Dash. Unfortunately, the execution was not. And they lose one. And now got through the fun. He's just going full man mode here as Corrupted Disciple gets pulled in by Prisoner. That might hurt his cause, though. Madman, meanwhile, as actually in the background, Glacius gets picked up. But now Madman's here, Prisoner. He's definitely going to be falling, just a matter of time. Or maybe not, as Fuzzy Slot does get a kill. Finally goes down, but down goes Madman in response. It took so long, and we're not done just yet. Oscar now trying to escape, but the shockwave, as well as everything else to keep him locked down and eventually pick up the kill right there. So, all right, that was quite the skirmish here at the bottom lane. Now, the biggest thing from it, I guess, is Corrupted Disciple stayed alive throughout it, including getting more kills. He is 6-0-1. Here on this long lane Corrupted Disciple. So this start here for Fuzzy Sloth is fantastic. 455 gold per minute. Has the early energizer, steam boots here. And something else is being delivered. Mighty Blade? Oh no, just the full power supply. Okay. So it gets that full power supply as well. So plenty of build up, plenty of stats to work with. The energizer is so huge as well on Corrupted Disciple. The idea that he could just keep that conduit channeling that much longer because he's able to chase them down is very, very powerful. So, that's big news here for Corrupted Disciple on the side of Complexity. As I see people talking in chat about the Shadowblade buff there. Yeah, Shadowblade did get that buff, so not honestly hugely surprising to see him here. But clearly it's just not working, and the dive just continues. I mean, this bottom lane, it's completely in control of not only Complexity, but especially Fuzzy Sloth, as Madman takes out the top lane, the top tower by himself right there. At least Shadowblade will be able to get a little bit of something here. Taking out the tower in the middle lane. But now he needs to be careful because here comes Magnus. Madman also rotating over. Oh no, Shadowblade's level, or he's low. Yep, that's going to be a kill. And Bopingo, he needed to get back as soon as that tower kill happened. He hung around a little bit longer, I think, for the creep wave. And that bought Complexity the time to come over and ultimately set up that kill there. So, the greed getting the best of Wop Dash in a couple ways. But honestly, Complexity, they are playing this pretty well. It's, you know, we've had another little bit of a break right here because of the issues this last weekend and everything. But Complexity clearly still somewhat focused, at least. Again, they're one of these high favorite teams going into that wild card event here coming up next weekend. So Magnus, however, he's going to go down, actually. And Cthulhu Funk, can he survive long enough? No, we can't. But now Corrupted Disciple, he comes in and clean up. Another double tap. Pussy Sloth has 10 freaking hero kills at 10.5 minutes. How do you stop this man? He already has a glowstone. And now a quick plate on top of that. He's going to have a Staff of the Master. And he's also level 10 on top. He's going to have a Staff of the Master, a level 2 overload. At something like 13 minutes into this game. It's going to be ridiculous on Corrupted Disciple. And, you know, he's obviously a fantastic hero for just grouping up with the team and just pushing. There's nothing that Wop Dash is going to be able to do, honestly. They need farm on Shadowblade. It's just simple as that. They need to kind of let him do his own thing, get farm. He's trying here at the top lane. As I say this, I mean, you see how tanky he is, 1,500 plus life already. It doesn't matter, though. When 3 heroes are collapsing like that, you're not getting away, and that's the case right there. So he goes down. Wop Dash really starting to fall out now. Behemoth, 1230 gold saved up. So he is working towards his portal key at least. And you would think, of course, Prisoner is also on that track as well. But especially without portal keys, they really don't stand a chance of holding right here. At least getting the portal keys and then buying the time, getting the room somehow for Shadowblade is the name of the game. But you know, it's not always about what they can't, what they should be doing now, how they should be adjusting. A lot of it's too, you know, it's really Complexity just outplaying in a lot of ways of Wop Dash, and especially at this bottom lane. Going back to this, the constant diving, the idea of manning up in the first place clearly was the correct choice. As now Corrupted Disciple, though, I guess this is one way to really take somebody out that's just on a huge streak. Is pretty much everyone go on him as he continues to push up. So finally, they take advantage of him being pushed up as far as he has been, and they kill him. Now, that's a big streak stopper. I mean, 875 bonus gold for Cyrox right there. And he actually gets a kill, too. And all of a sudden, he has 2,000 gold saved up. So, excuse me, guys. Prisoner actually is going to have a portal key here all of a sudden pretty quickly now because of those sequence of events. His GPM jumps up to nearly 400 right there. I mean, yeah, when you get 875 bonus gold for a freaking hero kill at 12.5 minutes into the game, that's going to happen. But that's where the success of Corrupted almost hurting a little bit. Obviously, it's so great that he did that, but he had a large bounty on his head, and they took advantage of it right there. So they pick up that kill and at least get the portal key on Prisoner very, very shortly now. You got Behemoth, 1,700 gold saved up. Did MJ just go what I think he went? I mean, looking at the GPM, too, it's not horrible here on the Legion side. I mean, even Parasite 323. But if he went what I think he went, that I'm not sure about. And, yes, it is what I think he went. He went the Codex here. I mean, I get the idea of Puzzle Box not being great against Cthulhu Font. Sure. But I think there's the argument to be made then just more aura heavy. Get more aura build. You know, the Abyssal Skull, the Soul's Bulwark. That style instead. And even still going the Puzzle Box, just figuring, you know, he's going to have to use his ability, save his ability for that purpose. I know it's not the longest cooldown, only 25 seconds, but I don't know. I think a Codex, I'm looking at this Hellborn team, especially with the start that they're having. This is not a squishy team, honestly. Hell, even Calatius is not that squishy. He's played at Greaves and a Ring of the Teacher. Madman, sure, you know, you can maybe burst him down. I guess that's the idea. They're kind of just hoping that they're really going to be relying on this quick burst style of lineup. Obviously, Corrupted Disciple, you're not going to. And speaking of that, though, Complexity, this is where that ball's going to start rolling downhill now. And I think goes more back to, you know, the critique here of the idea of the Codex on Parasite. If we're going to be having a lot of team fights now starting to break out, is that the best choice? Now, of course, as I'm talking about it and how I'm not really too sure about it, he ends up getting a kill with it on a Madman up here at the top rune, so well played there. And a Formless Dine for his second time. He's still 490 gold per minute, but he actually just got his Nullstone, I believe. So that's one of those cases. It's not really the biggest deal if you're Complexity. He'll respawn in the next 25 seconds or so and group up with the team. Corrupted Disciple does hit level 11 and also just got his Staff of the Master. It's going to be ridiculous how much he's going to be putting out here when it comes to these team fights. He activates that Overload. If you're anywhere nearby him, your armor is going to be draining like crazy. And you're going to be taking constant poke damage on top of that. So, on top, of course, everything else going on in the midst of a fight right here. So, yeah, very, very difficult times ahead here for Wop Dash. But I will say they did eventually get the double portal key. Oh, Prisoner trying to land a big hook there. Just misses on a Magnus. So he's going to be able to walk it off. And we'll be fine right there, but good attempt from Prisoner there to land that. Shadowblade, 2,100 gold save. I did see him buy, okay, he did do a little bit of a trick there. He bought the Mighty Blade as well as a Bracer, and he popped the Essence Shift and sold them, of course. So it's good to see that Imbapingus on top of that. He has plus 25 strength already. He's not even level 11. Again, this is, technically, it's the pre-patch level 2 ultimate that he has right now, because, again, it went up by 10% at each level. So, point is, it's good to see that, and he already has plus 25 strength. When he uses that Q, you see it here. I mean, he's 1,800 life with 14.6 armor and 9.5 magic armor. I mean, you compare those stats to anyone else in this game, even Corrupted. He has 1,660 life, not as much armor, but, I mean, that's with so much more farm, of course. Parasite, by the way, he's trying to survive up here in the top lane. Looks like maybe he does have backup coming as the slow just misses. And now here's that backup. Shockwave coming out. Go through the fall will fall. Glacius also goes down. He did get the freeze off. Corrupt Disciple is here. But he doesn't really have backup all of a sudden. He's in trouble. Magma's going to come in as well as Madman, but Corrupted's dead. However, they do get the kill onto Behemoth. And they also took out Parasite in the midst of that. And now Prisoner is being chased down. So Madman and Magnus getting here late, but still might be able to make some plays. Magnus, portal key's being deactivated. Madman's still chasing, though. There's the stun on the Cyrox. He goes down, and now Monarch in trouble. It's a double tap for Formless. Very possibly going to be a hat trick coming out here as he's in trouble, kind of. As Monarch, okay, not going to be able to survive it. Hat trick for Formless. Shadowblade, he got out of there pretty early. In fact, he gets a Nullfire Blade, and he switches to Agility. Very interesting choice here from Shadowblade. I got to say, I've never really seen this idea of a Shadowblade. So that another big fight, of course, for Complexity, but how is this going to work is now my question. Now, it will purge the Conduit buff off yourself, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but it will not actually remove Corrupted Disciples buff. So, but I think it might be a little bit of that idea. He wants it maybe for that purpose. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that it would be obvious for. I guess the Ice Imprisonment could be decent for that, too. But it's also just a solid agility item, and if his idea of going agility is what he wants, then, you know, there you go. So, you know, the interesting thing about it is Faint Siphon as well, as Love gets picked off here by Parasite. So the Codex, again, is coming into play. It's actually level 3. He is leveling it up even, so. But going back to Shadowblade, Faint Siphon, you know, a lot of people may just think of it, oh, it's a gap closing tool, it just switches to agility, but it also drains damage. What is it? It drains 40% of the enemy's damage, applying damage drain to yourself for 5 seconds. So it's almost like, I don't want to say it negates the conduit, but it's like they're kind of working against one another. So that interaction must be pretty interesting if they happen to use their abilities on one another. I'd be curious, you know, who gets ultimately the better of it. I think it might end up being Corrupted maybe earlier on, but I guess, yeah, being percentage-based probably later on is probably better for Shadowblade, but unfortunately a little bit of Caster's Curse kicking in right there, and Shadowblade gets picked off here at the bottom lane. So, yeah, this is a little bit of a downside of going this agility build. Now, I'm not saying if he kept the strength idea going still that he would have survived that, but the point is, he is a little squishier, of course. As you noted earlier, you know, he was up to 1,800 life with very little, basically no items, really. But that's now changed. You see right here, he only has 1,000 life. There's boots on agility. They're on intelligence even. So, yeah, he got caught in an intelligence steam boots right there. But, yeah, he only has 1,000 life. I mean, even with strength, it's going to be only, what, like 1,200 or so life right here. Now, armor-wise, you know, he's not too bad, of course, with all the agility, but very, very risky choice, in my opinion, to kind of go this agility build. this earlier on. It seems like Shadowblade really benefits from seeing kind of the strengthy, tanky build until really late game. But I'm not a massive Shadowblade expert, so I'll leave that to Imapinga. Look at this Monarch, by the way. Monarch, so difficult to kill, but in the end, Corrupted Disciple, of course, wins that battle. No Fireblade picked up by Madman now, by the way, so Madman going to get one of his own, and I think that's just kind of a mixture of, Chrysalis, definitely. In fact, speaking of that, so yeah, Monarch did max out the Chrysalis. I know that was something I was asking or kind of going over when they went the Monarch right here. So I guess my idea with that was that they kind of got this tanky carry in a Shadowblade as bottom lane. Nice pick on what you got there. Picking off Cthulhu Fawn, so nice kill for Shadowblade. Actually getting credit of it. But what kind of build we see from Monarch? Because they have this tanky carry, you know, the idea of Monarch with that Chrysalis is that you got maybe a squishy carry that's vulnerable to burst. Well, you throw the Chrysalis up if he does get jumped, and it kind of negates a lot of it. I guess with him going the agility style, it still kind of makes sense then to have that idea here, but I think it could be debated. Corrupted Disciple, he goes down. You know what? MJ95 is basically the same. Breaking CBK, you have no clue what you're talking about, and I'm just fine with that. He's really proven this Codex to be very worthwhile. He is 7-3-7 now. He does have... Oh, I thought he might have been still leveling it up, but no, he's still sitting on a level 3 Codex. Seems like he might be stopping at that. He has 1,700 gold. I wonder if he's going to be buying a portal key or something like that. Top lane, by the way, Prisoner. Oh, Prison Break is off, though. Madman decided to just run away. He's thinking about coming back in. He gets caught, though. And the tower's even denied by Cyrox right there. What a heads up. And now Madman, he's kind of left to fight on his own here against all these heroes of Wop Dash. There's that burst of speed given out from Monarch. The Ward of Rev. Not in range, but yes, it is. Prisoner gets him caught. Cannot get the shackle up, though. And there's the dust, and there's the Codex to finish him off. So, hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen. Wop Dash is definitely in this game, very much so now. There is something that they do have is late game. Shadowblade, in my mind personally, I know this could be debated, I'm sure, amongst a lot of people, but I think Shadowblade is one of the, if not the, okay, maybe not the, but one of the most dangerous late game carries in the game, simply because of his scaling potential. It is absurd. That Essence Shift allows him to scale higher technically than any other hero, right? When it comes to stats, at least. So, now, yes, we're talking about a lot of, on paper and theory and stuff, like I said, but the point is, when it comes to late game, this Wop Dash team definitely has potential. Behemoth, with his initiation's always going to be very useful. Prisoner could definitely prove to be a hard hitter as the game really takes into the late stages. Now, not to say Complexity's not, because they are. I mean, Madman and Corrupted Disciple, more so Madman, are very threatening carries themselves. But it's with the advantage that Complexity had, especially going that Staff of the Master on Fuzzy Sloth here, playing the Corrupted Disciple. It really seemed like that, well, not seemed like, but they really should have. They should have been able to take more advantage of that. But they haven't. A couple of picks here and there. And honestly, less grouping up than I expected for Complexity. You really thought that Staff of the Master was going to be the timing to group up and just push towers, because what was Wop Dash going to do to it? But we really haven't seen that now that I'm thinking about it. Complexity has still yet to kind of go as 5 into a tower. They've only done it really with 4, even 3 at times. Never as 5, though. So I do think Complexity has a little bit of themselves to blame here, but at the same time, Wop Dash, they've obviously done plenty to climb back in this. Now, Shadowblade, this is going to be interesting. He has 4,200 gold. Wonder if he's going to do some trick here. Again, buying items, buffing up with the Essence Shift, and then getting something else perhaps. But I'm going to keep an eye on that. Token of Life is picked up on Madman here, of course. Madman with that Nullfire choice. Again, Nullstone, Nullfire Blade, interesting idea of a build. I think it does work definitely. As what is going on here? Shadowblade, he buys a second Nullfire, another Quick Blade even. And then he goes for the Essence Shift. So, yeah, 79 agility. And he has a shrunken head on top of that now. All right. Interesting. God, that is something. I believe Shadowblade used to be capped at like 40. You know, way back in the day when he first like became a hero. Like, it's kind of funny to think that now. Here he is, sitting at plus 79 agility. Again, this is post-patch here, so with the buff that he got here in the most recent patch, he now has 10% more that he gains from the stats. So we're only 25 minutes into this game, and this is a Shadowblade that was struggling early on. Hell, his stats now 4, 6, and 3. It's not that good, but he's doing fantastic here when it comes to being able to get that agility, especially. Again, though, I'm still very curious about the idea of him going agility. I guess the one really shining benefit is that it will enhance his farming potential quite a bit while he's been farming here. So maybe there's that idea to it. It helps with this flash farming a little more because, you know, he just generally hits a little harder and stuff. So, but I mean, there's no question that, you know, when you start to scale into that later game, that yeah, you either switch to agility or intelligence. I believe that's kind of an argument that people will give you. I personally don't know which one, if there's either one is an absolute, you know, numbers suggest that it's 100% better, but it seems like agility is going to be Mbopinga's choice here at least. So I do know the idea of the soul sight, you know, going intelligence focused by the time the late game rolls around. It did get that huge advantage, and the obvious one of the range, which is nice. But, yeah, the agility of the Feint Siphon, being able to drain damage from Madman here, when you Feint Siphon him, jump on top of him, and then also deal that damage in his face, that's pretty good. So I can see that being very viable for sure. Don't think we're going to see a Staff of the Master. It doesn't seem like the right build this game for sure, but Elder, wow, I almost said Elder Parasite. I think we have seen Elder Parasites before in Shadowblades, but no, the Shrunken in No Fire Blade, so we'll see what he goes for next now. Honestly, probably like a Wingbow, wouldn't be surprised to see next year. Parasite, by the way, he is going to get the kill onto Glacius, but at what cost here? You see the No Fire Blade slow, and he will get taken out, so not really worth the trade right there. And yeah, Madman has a token for another minute 30. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in Complexity, man. Earlier on in the game, when they got the staff on Corrupted, they didn't really do a whole lot of grouping up and pushing. This token's just gonna simply wear off. It's good to have it, but they haven't really even remotely tried to really use it. And the more time they kind of just keep delaying things, and you know, what is going on down here? Like, why is Corrupted Disciple even down here by himself in the first place? Is a question I think is warranted to bring up. Now, he might still somehow survive, as actually Magnus is going to come out and pick off Prisoner. And wow, Corrupted actually will get out of there with his life. But boy, was that close. Shadowblade, he's going to be able to W his teammate here and try to run. Magnus, though, wants to change that. Shadowblade realizing he has to fight. Magnus feeling that damage, and he goes down. You see the Sharkin was popped. Magnus, that was a very ambitious reach, though. It ends up backfiring, of course. So, again, Shadowblade, has he done anything else? No. Another 2,500 gold saved up here. We'll see if he... Oh, no. Not going to do anything yet. Again, I guess he did buy a Nullfire Blade and a Quick Blade the last time he did it. So, yeah, he would need to have enough gold to obviously get more than that and then use it again. But, yeah, like I was saying earlier, wouldn't be surprised to see something like that Wingbow here on him, which would be no doubt fantastic against this Homer lineup. Now, didn't Savage Mace get buffed here in this last patch? I believe it did. So I'm not saying that's a reason not to get Wingbow, but I'm looking back here. Yeah, the Savage Mace, the cooldown for proccing the True Strike effect was removed. So, okay, so yeah, it used to have that cooldown on it of 6.5 seconds, I think. So, and now that's no longer there. So, oh yeah, Nullfire Blade, mana burn per auto attack also got increased from 24 to 26. So, nothing dramatic, but it adds up, you know. And we happen to see it on both sides here this game. So, kind of interesting that that is the case here. Yeah, I see people bringing up the idea of getting that Brutalizer on Madman. Definitely think that could warrant to be a good pickup here. Corrupted Disciple, he has a Shrunken now. He is level 16, but man, considering Fuzzy Sloth was, what, 10-0-1 to start this game, I think it was. Since then, he's 2-3-3, so Yeah, not as sexy of a stat line. Meanwhile, it was a pickoff there, but an immediate buyback from Magnus. Cthulhu Fawn, he will still go down, though. Prisoner, he will fall as well, but doing some damage before he does. Glacius falls, and now Shadowblade, he's trying to TP out. Nice stuff from Behemoth. It's not going to... Oh, it will matter! Are you kidding me? He actually lives as he ports back to the well. I think that Behemoth's done now. Madman wasn't stopped, but I think it did stop Corrupt the Disciple. And actually, he was able to pour it out. Wow. I mean, he wasn't in his strength form either, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that was just simply just a matter of him praying that he survived, and he somehow did. Barely but surely. Well played. Oh, him living, continuing to farm up. Again, 426 gold per minute now. Madman's continued to really just be up there on the GPM chart, but he is getting a lot of these mid-tier items. You know, the Null Stone, the Shrunken, the Null Fireblade. You know, where's that really threatening late-game item? Let's talk about earlier, Brutalizer, but I don't think he can really risk going that. He probably has to go either the Savage now, or you could even go Rift Shards, definitely. Or, of course, there's the idea of a Wingbow himself. So, yeah, it definitely needs to be more of that late game, though. With this next item, I feel. So, 24, nearly 2,500 gold save. Doug, keep an eye on that. Codex level 5 or what? Don't know yet. It has to be, right? Well, he did get a portal key. So you see down here, Monarch going to get caught, but that Chrysalis allows you to live a little bit longer. They get about an eye out of it, though. Oh, they actually see. Yeah, they see Parasite because of that, but he's able to react in time and get away. Okay, yeah, Parasite did get a post-haste and that portal key, so yeah, he still has the level 3 Codex here that he's kept on, but Magnus hunting around. Complexity. It looks like they're really getting aggressive now. Not going to catch Cthulhu Fawn, or maybe they will. There's a stun. There's the follower for Cthulhu Fawn. Madman just going in with that Shrunken now. Behemoth's going to try to help him. Again, that ultimate of Prisoner going with the Shrunken, main physical, of course. And actually going to allow him to stay alive here. Behemoth, meanwhile, Shockwave. He's trying to survive. Tap it away. No. Nice stuff for Magnus to finish him off. The teamwork is real. Look at these portal keys, man. Prisoner is going to barely live in the end. Somehow gets away from it. So it is ultimately a one-for-one exchange. And now here comes that middle tower push. Madman did, by the way, he did purchase a Brutalizer. So, I mean, it is a great item to have on him, and that lockdown is nice, but I guess he still really has one more slot that he can use as they catch Shadowblade up here, by the way. I don't know if he's going to get away this time. He kind of has to fight this. He goes strength with the Gargantuous Blast. He still has a Shrunken, but at this point, yeah, it's not going to matter. Corrupted Disciple able to chase him down, and they do catch Shadowblade out of it. So overall, a much better trade for Complexity right there. And now a Firebrand purchased by Corrupted Disciple. See over here, Madman? That is a real Madman. He's kind of just stalking around. They're trying to guess where he is. Gonna be wrong on that. Oh, his Shrunken Head is back up now. You see right there that Null Stone coming into play. Wasn't for that, he's probably gets caught there, so as Parasite was forced to leech first. Wanted to use that face hug on him. Yeah, the barbed armor choice on Prisoner. I mean, I like it. Corrupted Disciple especially, one of those heroes that he's just going to be doing a lot of sporadic damage around him, uncontrollable damage. And items like a barbed armor, that's where they can be really good, of course. So, you know, way back in the day when we had the former Draconis comes to mind, where with that Cataclysmic Assault, it just hit all the targets around him. He didn't necessarily have control of it. The idea was you just get barbed armor to counter that. So, no longer a thing. No longer a thing, though. R.I.P. Draconis. Here we go, another Null Fireblade. There's 86, so he bumps it up a little bit. He goes another Null Fireblade, another, I think he went even two more. But anyways, Assassin Shroud picked up now. Okay, so he's going to go the Genjiro route instead. He's hitting for over 300 damage. That is insane. Like, that's really good. Let's not downgrade how great that actually is. When he has that faint Siphon up, he's hitting for over 300 damage. Madman, by the way, this is going to be another token. Now, the last one they didn't really use, honestly, so definitely a point of the game where you figure that Complexity is going to be able to here. And there you got Wop Dash realizing they got there a little bit late to the party, and they have to fall back themselves. So, but yeah, Madman getting that Brutalizer, really committing to more of this mid-game victory, I think, definitely. Instead of investing for, say, that Wing Bow or the Rift Shards, more of that really big damage late-game threat. But again, it's not that I disagree with the idea of the lockdown. Having that Brutalizer lockdown is nice. It's just his items altogether. Is it the best investment? Well, for this mid-game victory, maybe it is. They're going to try to use it right here. You see again that token. So Madman not necessarily too worried about getting killed here. If that's the case, you see up the top. Yeah, Shadowblade is still pushing that, and we saw earlier he did get picked off, attempting to do that, so that's on the back of his mind. But this middle tower, I think Shadowblade has to get back here. I don't think he's going to be winning that race. He's still going, though. It's just basically Wop Dash making a point that they're not going to be able to hold here. Corrupt the Disciple, he gets pulled in, forced to pop the overload, though, and now Prisoner is in trouble. He goes down. Shockwave in the background. I think the portal key got canceled on Behemoth. The Shockwave basically nothing, it seemed like. Magnus barely lives, but no, now here's Shadowblade. However, Shadowblade, the Brutalizer proc, it goes off. He's forced to fall back. Monarch gets picked. And right now it's a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Complexity. And the Melee Rax is dropping now. I look back at the top, so Shadowblade actually did get the Rax up there. So actually it does kind of work out in the 1-for-1 trade for Wop Dash there. And you see the creep wave is still even pushing in, so this actually ended up not being too bad for Wop Dash. And oh, that Soul Sight! That was plenty of damage for Shadowblade. And he drops Madman. So now Madman without a token. Parasite, he gets a quick burst on a Glacius. Is it worth it though? Maybe not. Shadowblade, he's caught a little too far up. But he's able to Assassin Shroud and run away here. Oh, no, Gajiro now, excuse me. As Magnus will walk it off himself. So, I mean, being Wop Dash in the state that they're in, I think you definitely say that they got the better of that trade right there. Because Shadowblade by himself pushed that top lane in and was able to essentially trade Rax evenly. Of the top for the middle here. '86 agility, just ridiculous. And that's on top, of course, just what he has, too. As far as agility goes. He has 247 agility when he uses that faint siphon there. God. What do you got like Corrupted as 131. Madman as 125. That's just insane. Compared to 235 right now, just base. God. Ridiculous. So yeah, he's hitting hard, he's hitting fast. And he's still he still has an Iron Shield, for Christ's sake, so he's going to be able to replace that, of course. And he really has 2 inventory slots more to go. And I think that's really kind of the scariest thing about it. Again, this is Shadowblade, though. This is why, like I said earlier, there's a great argument to be made that he is one of the best carries in the game because of that skilling, and especially with that buff to Instant Shift now. So you got Complexity moving as a team. Look at the Veiled Rock gank right here. But Wop Dash, they picked up on this. They know something's up. Uh-oh. Shadowblade, though, doesn't know something's up. He's in trouble. This is going to be a pick on Shadowblade. I don't know if he'll have a buyback. He's going to go for the TP. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Again! He barely lives. Oh, my gosh. I thought for sure he's... what? Is the armor just really that strong? Like, he wasn't even in Gargantuan's Blast. That was him just simply hoping to survive right there. But, yeah, when you have 35 armor, I guess that helps. Holy crap. Hey, I mean, you look at the armor compared to everyone else, it's double the next closest. Corrupt the Disciple has 17.4. Yeah, double the next closest. Ridiculous. Well, that's the second time this game now. Shadowblade has just barely survived, but has nonetheless. Glacius will get picked off up here. So another 3,800 gold saved up on Madman. So again, this is that point of the game now where, okay, now if you're Madman, yeah, you need that big item now. What is it? I mean, It's either the Wingbow or Rift Shards, I think, is what he's probably going to be thinking between. You know what? Now that I say this, Harkons. Sitting here talking about the armor on Shadowblade. Harkons is the obvious answer, right? I mean, he does have it shrunken, but man, that armor is a brutal to get through. We saw right there, even just them jumping him and him TPing, they couldn't kill him. So maybe Harkons is the best choice here for Madman, but he's definitely got some decisions to make here. Monarch. Well, Monarch being Monarch. Gonna live initially and then eventually die, but it takes a half an hour. Here's this new Congo timer, by the way. I haven't seen this yet. How do you tell? How does it work? This doesn't look like a normal clock. Oh, it turns. Oh my god. How does this work, though? So I assume when it fills up, then he respawns. What does it mean, though? So it's like halfway. He's more than halfway to respawning. There we go. Are those minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god, it's 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 4 minutes he'll respawn. Is that what that means? That's probably what that means. I'm a genius. So at 45-minute mark, he should respawn. I figured it out, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, I see a lot of chat going on about what's best, and you see, I like these guys. Not that I don't enjoy having a co-caster by any means, and most of the time I definitely prefer that, but allows me to be a little more interactive with the chat here and kind of get insight from you guys and discussions going on there. Yeah, I see some arguments being had between Wingbow and Genjiro choice on Shadowblade, whether or not which one was better. Yeah, it goes to Genjiro. What is the agility difference? 30 agility on Genjiro, and then 30. Oh, it is the same. Okay. So agility-wise, it is actually the same there. It's really between the evasion, passive evasion, or the. Oh, here we go again. 97. Oh my God, he's gonna break 100 here if this game continues on. He has plus 97 agility from his ultimate here. I mean, even pre-patch, it would still be like 80 or something like that. It would still be pretty high up there, right? So this isn't even necessarily the patch just breaking the hero. This is just, honestly, Mpinga has played it pretty well, and he's playing it appropriately. He's playing the hero appropriately for sure. And I gotta say, I would have loved to see him go the strengths idea and just see how like really massive he can get with the health, but. Obviously, he knows what he's doing here. He's very comfortable with this agility idea. This is the kind of the fun thing, too. I mean, you see right here in his Soul Sight form, he still does plenty of damage in Soul Sight from a range right there. So, nice little benefit to have. Okay, so we have 5,000 gold on Madman, 4,800 on Corrupted. They got to buy something here before another fight breaks out for sure, you'd think. So we have under 2 minutes now. Yeah, we'll set around the 45-minute mark is when it should respawn there. Magnus? No. So they try to jump over here, but can't catch them. Nice escape coming out from Wop Dash. Huh, just lit up. Cool. Yeah, Shadowblade, GPM in general has been really consistent here lately. Oh my god, if they find him. Stun him, stun him, stun him! There we go. He's dead. This time he's actually dead. That's got to feel good if you're Complexity. Several times he's just barely gotten away. Finally, you're able to take him out here. Now what do you do is the question. He does have a buyback. Congress should be up. Matter of 30 seconds or less, so I would assume Complexity is going to make their way over there. Now, you look at the vision here from Wop Dash around the Congo pit. So if Complexity was to try that, then, yeah, Wop Dash would be ready to react. Probably a buyback on Shadowblade for sure if it's necessary. And there's Congo, sure enough. So Congo's back. It is a Wingbow choice on Madman, by the way. And what did... Okay, Demonic. full demonic finish on Corrupted Disciple to go with that Geometer's Bane here. So, you know, I like the R idea. Again, I am a little, like I said, it was either going to be a Wingbow, Rift Shards, or possibly the Harkon. So, not that it's surprising. Trying to figure if it makes the most sense, though. I guess I think so. I do. It is that at the attack speed. It's that great tool to get in there and, you know, evade from Shadowblade. Can the question really is just going to be: do they have enough damage to really just get through that armor? We saw the top lane. I mean, yes, they killed him, but I mean that's all 5 heroes with nobody there to help Shadowblade in that case. So, you know, when there's everything going on around them, it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually take down Shadowblade here throughout these fights. They give the token to Corrupted this time, so they change it up a little bit. I think that has a lot to do with Madman in his inventory. He is full here, so nothing they can do about that. Wait, what? He actually went Spyglass. Oh my god. Okay, Spyglass did get changed, right? What was the change? Now passively, oh that's right, so you just passively get True Strike now, and then the radius to sight and reveal buildings increase from 900 to 1500. So, yeah, so you just automatically get True Strike plus 20 damage, but now when you use it, you actually get that scope effect so you can see towers from a distance. And so ideally you could use Soul Sight and just ping the tower from a distance here while downhill. But how about that, though? Our first game back post-patch, and we see a freaking Spyglass in the late game. And this isn't the Fusin Troll pickup Spyglass. This is a legit pickup of Spyglass. He sees the Wingbow on Madman. He's like, I got to get it. And it makes complete sense. Now, the obvious downside is that's taking up an inventory slot here on Shadowblade. And it's really not doing a lot of offensive use for him. So it's only technically good against Madman, which is good, but yeah, you get the point I'm getting at. So we'll see. Here we go, Madman. Oh, he's going to avoid the hook right there. He'll be fine. Those racks, they're going to fall, though, so they just basically play the game of just giving it up. Oh, nice destroy from Magnus, meanwhile. Parasite and the Face Hug was used. And now Corrupted Disciple in the background. They're going to find Shadowblade. They want him. Nice purge, though, from Monarch. Meanwhile, Behemoth jumps in the background, kind of distracting. Madman, though, hits on a prisoner and gets him killed. Shadowblade holding his ground. Isn't going to be enough, though. Goes tank form. So I was talking about they just don't have the damage to kill him. He goes Genjiro, and he runs away, but Complexity into the base now. Wop Dash. Did they go too far is the question. Pull back onto Magnus. He's going to have to run back. Corrupted, though, just focusing for the racks. They're going to go for the Mega Creeps right here. So Wop Dash on their last foot. Shadowblade gets caught. He goes for the kill. He goes down. And that should officially do it. GG, well played. Game 1 will go